Welcome back to the Napoleonic Stacking Channel. I'm the Napoleonic Stacker. Do you have fake silver in your stack? The answer might surprise you. Stay tuned. In this video, we're going to talk about the dangers of buying fake silver and gold and talk about some ways that you can avoid that from happening. Also, I'll be going over my experience with fake silver and gold, so hopefully you can learn from my mistakes. So first of all, I took a poll yesterday to find out amongst you who's had experience buying precious metals that turned out to be fake. And out of 41 votes, 12% of you said yes, you have had that experience, where 88% of you have said no. For me, I'm definitely in the yes category. And I'm going to tell you a little story about what happened to me. So a while back, when the gold to silver ratio was somewhere in the neighborhood of 63, 65 to 1, I was doing a trade of some silver for gold. And I collected a few items for my stack and a mixture of different coins, rounds, and bars. And I had some pretty ugly bars in my stack that I decided I wanted to get rid of. And I took it down to the coin shop to basically offload my metal. And when I got there, the coin shop dealer basically had a Sigma Metalytics machine, which scans all of the pieces of silver in order to verify its authenticity. And I told him, it's not going to be a problem. Everything's good. And he went through and, of course, scanned them anyway. So he got to those 5 bars. And they were the ugly ones, of course. He placed it on the machine, and it read way out of the brackets. And if you know anything about how the Sigma Metalytics machines work, basically there's a set of brackets, and once you place the metal on the scanner, it's supposed to have a little bar that reads in between the brackets, and that tells you that the metal's good. Now, with this, basically, I had an arrow to the far left and the far right, which indicated that to him it was completely fake. And my heart just sunk when I found this out. And I told him, I said, I don't know how this could have happened because I've only ever bought from reputable sources. And he told me this kind of thing happens a lot. And that's one of the main reasons why he scans every piece of metal that comes through his shop, which is actually a pretty sound decision. So I'm going to put up a picture of those bars along with some other bars that are good, and see if you can tell which bars are the fake ones and which ones are the real bars. It's pretty obvious. The ones on the top that are discolored, there's surface corrosion on them. They just don't look right. And you can see on the far upper left a Atmex bar that actually tested good. And with these bars, when I had purchased them from my local coin shop, a very reputable local coin shop, the bars had this kind of discolored copper line along the back of it. It almost looked kind of like toning. And I'd asked the person that was working that day kind of what that was, and they said that the bars had been held together with rubber bands, and the rubber bands had basically discolored the silver. Now, I don't know if that's something that's true or not, if rubber bands have any effect whatsoever on silver, but that was the excuse that I was given. So I went ahead and I purchased those bars, and my colleague and coworker, actually, I had just got him into silver. The silver price had dropped. It was a great deal, and I had sent him into that very same shop and ultimately, unwittingly, had him purchase fake silver as well. After I found this out, I was so embarrassed to go to my coworker and best friend and let him know that, buddy, I sent you to this shop and I didn't realize it, but what you probably purchased was fake. And he had absolutely bought the fake bars. But at some point earlier, he had taken it back to that same shop and he sold it for a profit. He sold them for a higher price. So he had already offloaded that silver. The shop that I was selling my silver to at the time to do the gold trade was a completely different shop, and he volunteered to basically scan as much silver and gold as I could bring him. So I unloaded my entire safe, everything that I had, and brought it down to his shop in a couple of duffel bags. And probably a pretty dangerous thing to do. And we sat there for probably 45 minutes to an hour scanning through every single piece of silver that I had. And ultimately, we found a grand total of 14 fake pieces of silver. And they were all bars, and they were all very similar to that Atmex bar as far as how they looked and that little discoloration of copper on the back. And fortunately for me, I knew exactly where I'd bought those bars from because I keep meticulous records. And in my record keeping, I could pinpoint the day, I could pinpoint exactly how much I paid for them, and where I got it from. So the next step was to basically confront that coin shop owner that had sold me the fake bars. And at this point, it was roughly 6 to 8 months after this transaction had already taken place. So it was going to be a very uncomfortable conversation. So I walked back into the coin shop that sold me this fake silver, and he was with a customer. And of course, I wanted to wait until that customer was out of the building before I said anything about what I was there for. And immediately he started probing, trying to find out what I was there for. And I kept telling him, well, we'll talk about it here in just a little bit. And immediately he was getting kind of antsy about that, kind of concerned about what it might be. And after that customer left, I put the bars on the table and I told him, I said, look, I purchased these bars from you over the course of a few weeks, way back in such and such, which, I laid out the dates for him. I'm positive that I bought them from your shop. And, some of these are the Engelhard bars that I'm sure you remember selling me because we were talking about how discolored and ugly they were. And you told me that the Engelhard is a premium brand and it's collector bar. It has a higher premium. And I didn't have any of those at the time and was real excited to pick them up. And those, of course, were completely fake. And I told him, I said, I took it to a third party to have them verify it, and they've all come up fake. And he seemed a little bit shocked, but not overly shocked, which was a little surprising. I kind of expected him to be a little more defensive than he was. So he asks me, what do you want to do about it? And I told him, I said, this is exactly how much I paid for these fake bars. I don't expect to get the price of silver out of them because they're not silver. Can you give me back what I paid? And he absolutely gave me back exactly what I paid for it. And, no questions asked. He took the bars, pulled them back behind the counter, and the transaction was over. And he apologized and told me he hopes that I'll come back to the shop, which of course I did. But very uncomfortable situation. I'm glad that he was responsible enough to take those back and understand where I was coming from. Because when you get something fake from a local coin shop, if you give bad publicity to that coin shop because of something like that happening, it can absolutely ruin the shop. And I certainly wasn't out there to destroy him because I ultimately believe that it was an honest mistake. As good as you think you are at eyeballing things and saying, yeah, this is absolutely authentic, until you put it on the scanner, until you run other tests, you can't be 100% sure. And this gentleman felt like he was so good that when he brought in silver to his shop and gold, that he didn't have to scan it. He was just going to eyeball it. And as a result, there's no telling how much fake silver has moved through that shop. And supposedly this shop is the most reputable bullion dealer in my area. So fast forward another year, and I'm back at this same shop, and he's got a 10 mark gold coin of Albert, the King of Saxony. It's 1874, and I don't really know anything about this particular gold coin, and he's willing to sell it to me for, I think it was like a couple of $100. And I was pretty excited to get it because I needed a 10 mark gold coin for my stack. Immediately after making the purchase, I started researching the coin to try to find out who Albert was, King of Saxony, trying to do all my research on the coin. And I came to find out that the 1874 10 mark coin is actually a key date. And in mint state condition, it runs $2,500 to $3,000. And this very reputable coin dealer, I would imagine he knows exactly how much this coin should be worth. And he sold it to me for $200. Now, I gave him the benefit of the doubt because he specializes more in American coins, and this is a German gold coin. So I started doing some research that day and actually found some photos online of what the coin is supposed to look like. And I was comparing the coin to my coin. And you can see here in the photo, this is the obverse. And the coin on the right is the one that I purchased from this coin shop. The one on the left is actually a authentic 1874 Albert King of Saxony 10 mark. Now, some of the things that you might notice in the coin on the right, the letters seem kind of off. They're big and kind of bubbly. The details in his face aren't quite as clear. And another red flag is the color is all wrong. And taking a look at the reverse, again, my coin is on the right and the real coin is on the left. You can see that between the M and the A at the bottom, there's like some die issues. And also between the 8 and the 7 in 1874, it looks like there's some kind of a crack or something. And the real coin is much crisper and the color is right. So the color of the one on the left is a true 22 karat gold color. So something clearly was off with my coin. You can also see at the bottom, the tail of the eagle is almost touching the M, where there's a lot more space on the authentic coin. So I brought this piece to my other coin shop that had detected the fake silver. And immediately when he's looking at it, he says, this looks wrong. And I said, well, can you put it on the scanner and test it for me? And again, this was way out of the brackets. It did not break down to 22 karat gold. He said, I would take this coin back immediately and try to get your money back for it. So that's exactly what I did. The next day, I went back to the coin shop that had sold me the allegedly fake gold piece. And again, I waited for the customers to clear out, and I was kind of in a somber mood that day because I felt like I've been swindled twice. And he pulled one over on me. And I tell him, I say, look, I bought this from you yesterday. I took it to another shop and they're telling me this isn't real. And he immediately asked me which shop I went to, and I didn't tell him. It's not good to disparage one shop or the other, or to pit one shop against another shop. I just told him that, look, they scanned it and it's coming up not real. I said, is there a way that you can verify this for me? Because I really love this coin to be what it is supposed to be, legit. Because apparently it is a key date. So he throws it on his scanner and it reads way out of the bracket. So not even close to 22 karat gold. So then we do a scratch and acid test for the coin. And he takes the coin and begins to scratch on this board. And then he applies different types of acids to it in order to determine if it's gold or not. And according to the acid test, it actually came up at 22 karat gold. And my guess is this coin was gold plated. And he immediately told me, he said, this coin's not right. There's something not right about it. And he grabbed it and pulled it off the table and put it behind him. And I said, well, what do you mean it's not right? He says, I got to do some more testing on this. And he said, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to give you your money back. And I said, well, I don't really want my money back in this instance. What I want is gold. And I said, what else do you have? And he ended up having a 5 ruble Tsar Nicholas II gold piece, which actually had a little bit more gold in it than the 10 mark coin that he had sold me. Well, it had a lot more gold in it because the 10 mark coin was 100% fake. And basically, I had him scan the Tsar Nicholas II to make sure it was authentic, which it was. And, we called it a day. But I've been very wary of going to that coin shop ever since that moment. And anytime I go, I make sure that he puts it on the scanner and tests it for me before I walk out that door. and he understands that. We both have an agreement. But what are some ways that you can avoid my mistakes? Well, first thing obviously is to buy from reputable sources, reputable online bullion dealers, reputable local coin shops. But given the experience that I've had buying from reputable coin shops and still having problems, what are some other ways that we can test our silver and test our gold to make sure, basically to give us peace of mind? One way is to make sure that you're very familiar with the products that you're buying. So if you're buying an American Silver Eagle, get real comfortable with what an American Silver Eagle is supposed to look like, with all of the fine details, how it flips. See, American Silver Eagles flip vertically as opposed to flipping horizontally like a medal. And a lot of the Chinese fakes, especially of Silver Eagles, end up rotating like a medal. And that's a dead giveaway. Additionally, with your coins, the silver coins shouldn't be heavily magnetic. They do have some magnetism where magnets will slide down the coins, but one dead giveaway, if you have a rare earth magnet like this and you stick it on the coin and the coin snaps to it, that's an indicator that you absolutely have a fake piece of silver. So having some kind of a rare earth magnet, these come from China, will help you to be able to determine if your silver is real or fake. Another way to test for fakes is the ping test, and effectively just getting comfortable with the way silver sounds, because there's one resonance frequency for Silver Eagles, for example. So I'm going to take these Silver Eagles here and let you hear what it sounds like. So that's how a Silver Eagle should sound. And there's actually apps that you can go out and get for free. There's one called Ping Coin, and it actually tests the resonating frequency of your coins. You can pick a specific coin that you want to test, ping it, and it'll tell you if it's real or if it's fake. Now, I also have 2 US dollar coins, one of which is 90% silver, and the other is not silver at all. So we can actually hear the difference between a non-silver coin versus silver. So here is the non-silver coin first, just a traditional Eisenhower dollar. You can hear it's got a very high pitch to it. Now let's see if I can do this one. The pitch is lower, and it resonates longer. Yeah, see, that just sounds terrible. So you can definitely hear the difference between real silver and fake silver. Another great way to test your metal is to weigh it. So I'm going to open our scale right here. And if you have a 1 troy ounce coin or bar, it should weigh right at 31.1 grams, right around that. So I've got my scale set to troy ounces, and we're going to take this American Silver Eagle here and find out how much it weighs. So right at 1 troy ounce. Now, if it's a little over, for example, the American Silver Eagles are 3/9 fine silver, so it's not 4/9 fine. There's going to be a little bit of other material in the coin. It may come up a little bit heavier. If it's significantly heavier or underweight, that's a big red flag that tells you that you're probably dealing with a fake piece of silver. But I highly recommend picking up one of these scales. You can get them pretty cheap on Amazon. And also picking up some rare earth magnets. Ultimately, it's a fairly low expense in order to be able to give yourself a little better peace of mind. If you're really concerned about a particular piece that you have, don't hesitate to take it down to your local coin shop and have them verify it for you. After all, they're the experts, and they can help to give you the peace of mind that you need to make sure that you don't have fake silver and gold in your stack. But that's what I've got for you today, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Please share in the comment section if you've had any experiences similar to what I've had. And don't forget to subscribe, like the video, and share with your friends. And until next time, Napoleonic Stacker signing out.